Good evening / afternoon, everybody. It is Steve Lookner with Agenda Free TV. According to the U.S. military, Iran attempted a surprise missile attack against U.S. forces in the Middle East, and the U.S. intercepted all the missiles. This comes after, what is it, 1, 2, 3, about 4 or 5, maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I think about four or 5 days of no attempted attacks on either side. Well, again, the U.S. military is saying that Iran attempted a surprise missile attack on U.S. forces, reportedly in Jordan. Barak Ravid said the U.S. forces were in Jordan. So we're going to bring you up to date on this. Will the U.S. strike? Will the U.S. launch some kind of retaliation strike? I haven't heard any comment from President Trump on this yet. Also, I did want to mention here as well. We do have a, where is this here? The FAA also, real quick, and keep an eye on this. The FAA has announced that a ground stop for American Airlines, from what I've seen, due to an IT outage or an IT issue. So I'm going to try to show you that for 2 seconds. We'll keep an eye on that too. Hold on a second. Air Traffic Control System Command Center. Where is the hang on. I want you to get the original here. Hold on. See if I can do this right here. Let's see if I can do this right here. Ah, is this it? No. Advisory. Here it is. I think I got it right here. Is this it? 221. Here it is. I found it. Here is the FAA advisory, just so you can see it. It says FAA advisory, thanks to Intel Point Alert and AZ Intel and others for pointing this out. Event time, July 28th, and that's 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, it says. I'm assuming this is GMT. Destination airport all. Facilities included all. Reason IT outage. American Airlines and subs all scope call AC. Ground stop. It says IT outage right on it. IT outage. So I will keep you updated on that as well. But let's focus on Iran. Let's focus on the Iran story now. Here. Let's start by showing you what hold on. The CENTCOM said. Here is what CENTCOM announced. CENTCOM says at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time today. This was recent. This happened at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time. They posted this post like a half an hour after it happened. At 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time today, Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps forces launched multiple ballistic missiles from Iran in an attempted surprise attack on U.S. forces based in the Middle East. All Iranian missiles were successfully intercepted. U.S. forces remain vigilant and at a high rate of readiness. Some of our viewers are questioning this. Well, this is what the U.S. military said. Let me see what Iranian state media is saying. But this is what the U.S. military says. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? What I'm going to do is, hang on a moment. Let me do it this way. Do something here. Let's get it up on the screen this way. Oops. I need one more second here. Do it this way, and then you can see it. It's easier for everyone. Okay, so we'll do this. We'll save it here. Ooh. Save it here. Let's try this again. Desktop. Okay, good. That's good. Now let me put it here. Browse. Good. There. We'll get it. All right, so I'm going to put this on the screen for you guys so you can see it. There. All right, that's that. Carl Feathers says CENTCOM lies are getting old. Carl Feathers, our viewer, thinks CENTCOM lied about this. Let me see what Iran state media is saying, if anything. Okay, this is what Fars says. Here's what Fars says. Fars state media Iran. Let me show you what Fars state media says. Now, what I need to do is, hold on. Image. Hold on one more second so I can show you what is being said. Okay, there's that. So we get rid of that one. Now I got to show you what Fars state media is saying. I'm pulling it up right now for you so you can see it. I can see it now. You'll see it in a second. Okay, that's done. Wonderful. Okay. So Fars state media, Iran state media says, U.S. military's repeated claim, we shot down all missiles. The U.S. Central Command's counterterrorism headquarters, as usual, once again claimed it had intercepted and destroyed all the missiles fired by Iran at Jordan. Well, that's not denying they fired it. This claim has been made in previous attacks, but each time their lies have been exposed with the release of satellite images or military casualties. So did they admit doing it? Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing it right. I'm seeing it right here. They posted. They posted a post that says Iran missiles in the sky over Jordan with some pictures. That's Iran State Media Tasnim. So they certainly don't seem to be denying they did it. I've seen no statement like announcing it, though. That's the thing. I haven't seen their big like this is what we did and why we did it. You can see here, this is Iran State Media claiming that Arab sources say there were some explosions. Hold on, I'll show you this. This is Far State Media Iran. Explosion at U.S. base in Jordan. Arab sources, they say. Sometimes I don't know if there are any sources they're quoting. Reported that explosions occurred at a U.S. base in Jordan following an Iranian missile strike. Arab media, the American Patriot system has been activated in the center of Jordan and is trying to counter Iranian missiles. So I haven't seen them deny it yet. Now, what's this? What's this about? Why are they reporting this? 45 minutes ago, almost an hour ago, they said shutdown of gas facilities in northern Qatar following an unspecified incident at the Ras Laffan gas and condensate facility. The complex's operations and exports were completely halted. I'll have to see anything. I haven't heard anything about that yet. That's what they're saying. I have no idea. That's Iran State Media. So I don't see any denials here from Iranian State Media, I'll tell you that. Iran State TV says media reported 5 massive explosions at U.S. military base in Jordan minutes before the incident. No official report or announcement has been issued in this regard yet. Iran State TV says cyberspace users believe this incident was a missile launch by Iran and attribute it to today's announcement by the Khatam al-Arabi al-Anbiya Central Headquarters regarding illegal U.S. actions to prevent ships from passing through. So Iranian media has a lot of posts about this. None of them are an official, we did it, but none of them also is denying they did it. I'm guessing we're going to get a statement soon from the Revolutionary Guard that takes credit for it and explains it somehow, and also claims they destroyed a bunch of things even if they didn't. So we'll have to see. And then hold on. American Airlines post. We have a new post from American Airlines. Breaking update about American Airlines. Check it out. You can't check it out yet. Now you can check it out. A technology issue briefly impacted connectivity for some of our systems on Tuesday evening. Systems are coming back online now, and flights are departing again. We put a temporary ground stop in place while our teams worked to resolve the issue. We apologize to our customers for the inconvenience. So they say planes are departing again. It was a technology issue. Okay. Anyway, so let's get back to Iran. Hey, thanks for your support. God Frieza, who says winter is coming. Goodbye, GHD, said thank you. Says it wasn't a surprise attack. It was just an attack. Again, The U.S. military says it's a surprise attack. That's what they said. Donda, thanks for being a member. Thank you, Charlene Newman, for your support. Thank you, Jordan Hart, for your support. Jordan says, after begging for a ceasefire, I mean, that's Jordan thinks they were begging for a ceasefire. Jordan says, after begging for a ceasefire, they do this. No more games should be played, said Jordan. End it now. Thank you, Stream Junkie 247, who says, attack makes no sense if they badly want a deal. Thanks, user KR4, for your support. Thank you, Gingerich M, who says, is it a surprise you would think U.S. is vigilant? Well, surprise can be defined different ways. Surprise can mean you weren't expecting them to launch anything and they did. Doesn't mean that the people, that nobody saw it coming once they were launched or something. The U.S. can be vigilant and you can still have something that's a surprise. Thank you, Code Rapper. Thank you again, Martin Gingrich. Code Rapper, thank you. Who says, the fact we have IT servers that control and operate U.S. companies and sectors of the economy in foreign nations is not good. I'm not sure the specifics about what you're referring to, Code Rapper, but thank you, Code Rapper, for your support. Sparky Gene, thanks for being a member. Thanks, Scanrock, who says, what makes it a surprise attack, Iran attacks and retaliation? It may be a message to Zelensky in D.C.? Well, in D.C. hat in hand, Zelensky's been in Washington, D.C. today. I believe he's meeting with members of Congress now or just did or around now. But he met with the president before. But let's wait and see what Iran says. I'm guessing we'll get a statement from. I'd be pretty surprised if we didn't get a statement from the Revolutionary Guard at some point soon. Birdman, thank you so much. Birdman says, since it was an attempted attack, we won't respond. Thanks, Thomas J. Doyle Burke, for being a member. Lois Dutton for being a member. Hastings Crew. I have no idea if the U.S. will retaliate or not. If you think President Trump does not want to escalate things, you might think they won't retaliate. But at the same time, it's not like the U.S. It's not like this is a rumor that this happened. CENTCOM posted about it. So CENTCOM is acknowledging this happened and calling it a surprise missile attack on U.S. forces, which seems like a lot to not respond to. Thanks also, all of our moderators. Thanks for modding. We have moderating Bastion Girl, LB Prairie Dawn, I Got That Fire, Flux Eternus, Ruth, thank you. For being a mod and for modding now. Haley Girl as well. Linda Belk, Larry, Misha, and over on Facebook, over on X, and our Facebook mods too. Thanks to our Facebook mods. Let's get you more information here. We have Kay Lowry Body is modding. Andrea Holder is modding. Thank you. All right, let's try to get some more information here. Let's look at the oil price. Hey, oil price, WTI crude is up 4.3% since 6 p.m. Let's look at the oil price. Whoa. Brent crude is not. Brent crude is on a break for an hour or two. WTI had their whatever it is hour or two break already today. So WTI crude is back. But you can see here, see that? Look at this. This is from tradingview.com. See that sudden jump? It was at 79.09 and now it's at 82.56. Just like that, up $3.50 when the news broke. I'm guessing we'll see something similar out of Brent crude when that starts trading again tonight. I'm just checking Iranian media. I'm very interested to see what kind of statement we get from Iran on this. Nothing yet. No statement yet. Nothing from President Trump. Hang on a second here. Give me one moment. Okay, now. Will we hear from President Trump about this? Will the U.S. respond or not? In case you're just joining us, here is what was announced by U.S. Central Command. They announced this about an hour ago. They said at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time today, Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps forces launched multiple ballistic missiles from Iran in an attempted surprise attack on U.S. forces based in the Middle East. All Iranian missiles were successfully intercepted. U.S. forces remain vigilant and at a high state of readiness. Yeah, so like one of our viewers said, it says attempted surprise attack. So I guess, there's different ways of reading that. Like I said, I have to imagine that I don't think it's really a question that the U.S. is watching them all the time. But what the U.S. is saying here is the idea is that it was just, we were in this state where for 4 straight days, or 4 or 5 straight days, there were no attacks either way. And Iran was trying a surprise attack. That was what they were trying to do. So you can read these things different ways. I don't genuinely think the U.S., again, was sitting there and then all of a sudden they, 5 minutes after the missiles launched, they're like, what? Somebody launched missiles? I'm sure they saw it right away. But at the same time, they're saying that what Iran was doing was launching what it thought was a surprise attack. All right, hold on a moment here. So we're going to have to do I think we have to do a poll here and see what you guys think. Do you guys think, will the U.S. retaliate for this? Will the U.S. retaliate? I mean, if they launched missiles, this is the U.S. saying they launched missiles at U.S. forces. I mean, normally the U.S. would retaliate for that. This isn't like, oh, some news outlet claims a couple drones were launched and there's no comment by CENTCOM. This is literally CENTCOM announcing that the Iran attempted a surprise attack by launching ballistic missiles at U.S. forces. And it's pretty clear what they're saying happened. All right, so hang on a moment here. I'm posting the poll right now. And I have it posted 2 places. I got to post it the 3rd place. The thing is, remember, if the U.S. fires back, then Iran's probably going to fire back. And then where are we at, right? Then we could be back to attacks. Is Iran doing this? Did Iran do it in the hope that the U.S. would fire back? How about that? That's a different question. Okay, the poll is active, and what we're going to do is do this. We're going to look at you guys thinking about the poll. Will it make you feel better if I do this? Iran attempted surprise missile attack on U.S. forces there. Give me a moment here. We're going to get to the poll results right now. See what you guys say. Okay, let's see. We're going to get let's get the poll results right now. I haven't even looked at them yet. Okay, so I said to you guys, will the U.S. retaliate for this? Meaning launch some sort of strikes. Hopefully that was clear. Will the U.S. retaliate for Iran launching missiles at U.S. forces in an attempted surprise attack, according to CENTCOM? Over there on, YouTube, 82% say yes. 82% say yes. Oh, it wasn't active on, I got to activate it on Facebook. All right, I'll check Facebook in a second. How about on Twitch? On Twitch, it is. %78% say yes on Twitch. Is there any way, like, we'll just go through the entire night and President Trump won't comment on it and just nothing will happen? How about that possibility? We don't even hear from President Trump. We got 82% yes on YouTube and 80% yes on Twitch. Some of our viewers differ. Some of our viewers think we'll not hear from Trump, and some of them think we'll do. We will. Are tankers up? I honestly think there's probably always tankers up. I mean, I can't imagine that they just kind of send the tankers home. So I'm assuming that there's constantly U.S. air. I mean, I can look on Flight Radar. You don't see everything on Flight Radar, but at the same time, I mean, I would just have to assume that they always have aircraft ready in case something happens. Diane Allworth says, in my opinion, it makes us look weak to not respond in some fashion. Gonzalez says, tankers are always flying around the area. No one thinks nothing tonight, possibly by Friday. Maurice Sparks says, if we don't hear anything, then hold on, it's probably going to get spicy. You know, there was reporting in a bunch of publications in recent days that claimed that the U.S. was concerned about that if things escalated, they could be running low on munitions. For example, running low on interceptors. So if that's true, and that's a concern, that could impact possibly the choice of whether to retaliate. I don't know. Elizabeth G says, may not happen tonight, but it will happen. Stormfather says it's too embarrassing. There's a good chance Trump doesn't admit it ever happened. Well, again, CENTCOM already posted about it. Rochelle Jackson thinks it's too big for Trump to not comment on. Hey, by the way, I want to thank... All right, hold on. First of all, give me a moment here. We'll let a few more votes come in on the poll. But by the way, I want to thank Tormented Tantalus, who gave 50 people memberships in the YouTube chat. That is so generous. Tormented Tantalus has given so many memberships. So nice of you. 50 of you just got memberships. Please thank Tormented Tantalus if you got a membership from Tormented, because that is super nice of Tormented Tantalus. Thank you so much. Very generous of you. Really, really appreciate that. 50 memberships. Also, thanks to Bobby's Enterprises, who says the president is sandbagging here, listening, laughing while we debate if he will show or not. Thank you, Cosmic Brownies 76 for your support. Thanks, Tommy Apple, who thinks U.S. critically low on weapons in Iran is calling bluff. Thanks, Tommy Apple. Thanks, Arco the Burb, who says, Iran, I didn't hear no bell. Thanks also to Mo90X, our new member. Kurt Hensley, who says, deja vu all over again. Thanks, Jordan Hart, for your support. I appreciate that. Also, USMC Rodriguez F. Hey, it's if you serve, thanks for your service, Rodriguez F. Thanks for subscribing too. All right, so let's right now, there's our poll result. 82% on YouTube say yes, the U.S. will retaliate. 80% on Twitch say yes, the U.S. will retaliate. But we'll have to see. On Facebook, it was 83% on Facebook said yes, the U.S. will retaliate. The thing is, CENTCOM came out with this pretty quick. They said, if we look at their post here, I mean, they came out with this quickly. You don't always hear quickly about this type of stuff. This was quite fast. I mean, look, this was posted at 6:27. This was posted 42 minutes after the actual missiles were fired, according to CENTCOM. They said at 5:45 Eastern Time today, PM, Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps forces launched multiple ballistic missiles from Iran in an attempted surprise attack on U.S. forces based in the Middle East. All Iranian missiles were successfully intercepted. U.S. forces remain vigilant and at a high state of readiness. Ruth says that was fast. Yeah, I mean, it can take a long time to hear about things, if at all. They posted it within 42 minutes of the missiles being fired. Hang on. One moment here. I do think we're going to get a statement from the Revolutionary Guard. I got to keep looking for that. I'm not seeing one yet. As I mentioned, there was an interesting post from Iranian state media, Mehr News, which said that the U.S. lies about missiles being shot down. Here, look, see that right there? That's from Mehr News, Iran state media. Look what it says. U.S. military's repeated claim we shot down all missiles. The U.S. Central Command's counterterrorism headquarters, as usual, once again claimed that it had intercepted and destroyed all the missiles fired by Iran at Jordan. In a statement, and then they say this claim has been made in previous attacks, but each time their lies have been exposed with the release of satellite images or military casualties. Himster says, what else are they going to say? You mean Iran? Francis says, of course they do. You mean, of course, Iran says this? Is that what you're saying? You know, I saw a post I wanted to show you about this. There's an analyst who I sometimes see on TV, and I read his posts, and he has a lot of really interesting posts. His name is Danny Centrinowicz. Let's see what he had to say. I think he's really interesting. Let me show you his page, and I'll show you where you can follow him. He is at Citrinowicz. Citrinowicz. You might have seen him on TV at some point. He goes on different channels and talks about the situation. Middle East national security and intelligence expert. Senior fellow INSS Hebrew, which is I have to translate that. Institute for the National Security Studies, and also a non-resident fellow at Atlantic Council. He posted about this today. I haven't read the post. So let's see what he had to say. This is his opinion. Again, you can follow him at Centrinowicz. He says, why did Iran fire these missiles? He thinks the current leadership in Iran seeks to dictate the pace of confrontation and not merely respond to decisions made in Washington. From its perspective, an offensive initiative is a way to prove that Iran still holds the strategic initiative. B, in Tehran, they identify the American hesitation as a weakness and a lack of willingness to be dragged into a broad war. The Iranian assessment is that applying additional pressure will precisely test Washington's resolve and influence decision-making in the White House. C, says Danny Centrinowicz, from Iran's point of view, the naval blockade, that's the current U.S. blockade on Iran that doesn't let ships go into or out of Iran, From Iran's point of view, the naval blockade is no longer just a means of pressure, but an actual declaration of war. Unlike in the past, the current leadership is not prepared to accept damage to its freedom of action in the Gulf without a significant response. D. There is a direct connection between today's missile launches, he says, and the activities of pro-Iranian militias in Iraq against Israel, Jordan, and Saudi Arabia. In recent days, there have been reports of drones being fired from pro-Iran forces in Iraq against Israel, Jordan, and Saudi Arabia. From Tehran's perspective, these are different fronts of the same campaign, whose goal is to reshape the power in the Middle East and erode the status of the U.S. and its allies. E. Danny Centrinowicz says, this is also further evidence of a change in Iran's doctrine following the rise of Khamenei. If in the past the emphasis was mainly on response and deterrence, today Iran is also prepared to initiate offensive moves and to rely deeply on its missile array, drones, and regional proxies. In Tehran, they see an opportunity to reshape the strategic reality in the Gulf to their advantage. And then he says for F, the ball is now back in Washington's court. In Iran, they assess that a limited American response will not change the reality, and in the end, the U.S. will be required to decide whether it escalates the campaign, knowing that every escalation is expected to be met with a further Iranian escalation. Bottom line, Danny Centrinowicz thinks, he thinks the attack is further proof that Iran has no intention of surrendering and is not acting out of distress or a desire to beg for negotiations. On the contrary, he thinks the leadership in Tehran is prepared to take significant risks because it sees the current confrontation as a decisive battle over its regional status and its ability to shape the security reality in the Middle East. Some interesting analysis there. If you want, you can follow Danny Centrinowicz at Centrinowicz, at CITRINOWICZ. That's from Danny. But I think he's, whether you agree with him or not, I think he provides thoughtful, interesting analysis. Yeah, I do follow him. I find his analysis of the war really interesting. Transport thinks Iran is crashing out. TV Party said, why would Iran surrender? Hoagie Roll says, wars don't stop and start at your convenience. Thomas J. Doyle Burke says, so much happening. Mo says, Iran childlike mentality. Now, let me see here. Give me a moment. Check a couple things. Still no official statement from Iran about this. I haven't seen anything new in the last few minutes, so I'm still checking Iranian state media, seeing what they're posting. Nothing yet. No statement of responsibility yet. The combat drummer thinks it's a trap. And again, multiple reports. Well, Barak Ravid reports that these missiles were fired at Jordan, and Barack Ravid says it's the first missile attack against a U.S. base since President Trump paused the strikes on Iran on Friday. Barack Ravid says this could force Trump to decide whether to resume military action. Tanks a Lot says Israel brought this on. Zinc Man thinks Iran is too weak to know they are near defeat. Dean R says take off the handcuffs and let our military do what they are trained for. I think it's possible that Brent crude will start trading again about after a break in like 7 minutes or something. I got to keep an eye on Brent crude oil. Hang on a moment here. Bear with me. What was I going to pull up here? Forgot. I'll have to remember. Oh, I think I remember. Michelle Lauzon thinks the U.S. is out of offensive weapons? That would be pretty extreme. I mean, there's discussion that perhaps the U.S. is low on some weapons or getting low, for example, on interceptors. I haven't heard anybody reporting saying they're out of weapons. Yeah, but I mean, this is like, again, what does Trump do? If he doesn't respond, then that means the U.S. didn't respond to what it says was an attempted surprise missile attack on its troops. But if it does respond, that risks escalation. Mercury Shadow thinks he didn't respond to the deaths of the troops. Alien 01 says it's called reloading. By the way, the Axios, Barack Ravid reported that it was missiles fired at Jordan. And then I think there was a report maybe by CNN that talked about numbers. Zachary Cohen of CNN says that early estimates suggest Iran launched fewer than 4 ballistic missiles in this attack. Hang on. President Trump posted a couple of things on True Social, but not about this. John Rocker says Iran will never surrender. Here is, by the way, here is Flight Radar 24. Iran has not denied the attack, but they have not released a statement officially taking responsibility. But they have spoken about the attack in different reports in state media, and nowhere have they denied it. Oops, what I have to do is do this. Ooh. This is an F-35 that's squawking 7,700 that a lot of people are tracking. But this is in Arizona. Remember, planes regularly squawk 7,700. It's an emergency code. But let me remind you, as it's not being tracked anymore, that plane, let me remind you what Flight Radar 24 says about 7,700 in their blog post from a year ago. Squawking 7,700 in-flight emergencies from a pilot's perspective. Look at the end of the article. It says, 99% of the emergencies observed on websites like Flight Radar 24 are very benign events. Unfortunately, Twitter seems to go nuts when an aircraft squawks 7,700. Emergency doesn't necessarily mean passengers and crew are in a life, death, and death struggle worthy of the evening news. Most of the time, the crew is using an abundance of caution and letting ATC know that they are working with an abnormal situation. But if you're wondering what's flying around here, well, I could do a military filter. Military filter. So there's Iran right there. There's the Strait of Hormuz there. That is a tanker, right? That's a tanker. That was a tanker. Looks like it's going back. Was flying over here. That is a tanker. Is that military? Military or government Airbus? I mean, there could be all kinds of planes up there we can't see. That's the military planes we can see up there. Thank you to James Schramsack, who says Iran will never stop. Thanks for being a member, James. Thank you also, Tanks a lot, for being a member. Thank you, user KR4, for your support. Thanks, I appreciate that. Camster Email, who says Iraq 2.0, Vietnam 2.0, shaking my head. Thank you, Chimix, who says there's a Fed meeting tomorrow. Iran wants oil prices higher, increasing the likelihood of a hike. My guess is U.S. won't respond until after the Fed meeting. There is a Fed meeting. I think isn't the Fed releasing their decision on interest rates around like 2 p.m. tomorrow, if I have that right? I think. Sorry for yawning. Was up early this morning. We started coverage early this morning. We were doing a different stream. So it's been a bit of a long day, but this is an important story and I want to cover it. But if you see me yawning, that's why. Yes, 2 p.m., the 29th, which is tomorrow, is when the rate decision was announced. Let's see. Our viewer Our viewer, hold on. Amber Dog says it was a mostly friendly missile attack. Thanks McLovin Wants Beer, who says Iran will run out of ammo long before the U.S. does. Now, again, nothing yet from President Trump. Nothing official from Iran. Yeah, there's been some explosions reported tonight in Iraq. This has been going on for days and days. I mean, it's going on for longer than days, but Iran apparently seems to be launching attacks on, for example, Kurdish areas in Iraq. But I'm not really focusing on that right now. Oh, did Brent crude open back up? Hold on. Hey, look, Brent crude went up. See? Brent crude is back open again. It is 84.45. Before it took a break, well, back on at 5 p.m., it was 81.88. Now it's 84.50. So it's gone up about $2.50, a little more than that, since 5 Eastern time, since this news came out, basically. The news came out a bit after that, but you can see that right at the end there. That's the 24-hour chart from TradingView. It's at 84.45. That's tradingview.com. Tradingview.com. Excuse me. Summer Chan says, "Are you tired of winning yet, America?" Just checking a couple things here. Give me a moment. Hang on. By the way, the New York Times is reporting that Iran considered attacking a seaport in Ukraine in response to a Ukrainian strike on an Iranian ship, but diplomacy has calmed the situation for now. Some people told the New York Times that they expected, some briefed on the intelligence said they expected Iran to fire a ballistic missile with a small warhead at Ukraine to make a point. But the Times says that would be the experts say that would be, the Times says that would be a massive escalation to fire a missile at Ukraine. Here is something that the foreign minister of Iran said today. Syed Abbas Araghchi. Look what he said. He said about 5 hours ago, was assured by the Ukrainian foreign minister that the attack on an Iranian ship was unintentional and Ukraine seeks no escalation. Iran does not seek escalation either, but made clear any attack on our citizens or interests is unacceptable. There must be restitution for losses. Iran claims that the Ukraine has attacked an Iranian commercial vessel, killing a sailor. Our viewer thinks Xylee thinks it could hurt the Russians a bunch if Iran shoots a random ballistic missile at Ukraine. Still no statement from Iran taking responsibility for this firing of missiles at Jordan. Are we going to see more of these attacks now? They've done it today. Could they do it tomorrow or the next day? It's a whole other thing. The Economist has a new article today, and they say that they feel that, hold on. What happened here? What's going on here? They say they think Trump is stalling for time in the war with Iran. They say that Trump has retreated from his threat to launch a massive attack on Iran and now claims negotiations are going well. That was the state of the play for much of the spring, they point out. The Economist says that publicly, American officials say that President Trump stopped the bombing campaign to give diplomacy a chance, but privately, some officials also worry about a dwindling supply of air defense interceptors, and also worry that limited airstrikes have little value. And they just talk about all these issues that need to be dealt with. What's going to happen with the Strait of Hormuz? How about the frozen Iranian funds? What happens to that? How about the enriched uranium? What happens to that? Vic Morrow says, I got a plan, General. Creative Content says the IRGC will not give up. The only option is for the U.S. to surrender. Now, I have no idea if this is true. Fars News just posted Iraq was attacked by Saudi Arabia. But what they might mean by that is, hang on. See at the bottom there from Fars News? Iraqi sources, Iraq was attacked by Saudi Arabia. So reportedly, Iraqi pro-Iranian groups in Iraq have been firing drones at countries like Saudi Arabia. Oh, Saudi Arabia posted about this today. Hold on, I'll show you their post about it. Look at what Saudi Arabia said today. This is from Saudi Arabia. Announcement today. Oops, that's not obviously it. They say, the official spokesperson for the Saudi Ministry of Defense stated that air defense intercepted and destroyed several drones during the past hours, which had attempted to target petroleum facilities in Saudi Arabia's eastern region. Major General al-Maliki clarified these terrorist attempts were once again launched from Iraqi territory, they say, and carried out by Iran-affiliated terrorist militias, affirming the kingdom's legitimate right to defend itself and its capabilities, while reserving the right to respond at an appropriate time and place. So that is Saudi Arabia saying that, once again, they claim that pro-Iranian forces in Iraq are launching things at it. So when Iran state media says a few minutes ago Saudi Arabia attacked Iraq, I don't know if that's true, but that could be a response to this. Standing Watch, our viewer says, we know what Trump's going to do. Looks like it will be an interesting news night. I don't know. I don't know if anything's going to happen. We'll bring you the latest updates here. Let me... Going to take 1 second here. All right, just give me 1 minute. I need 1 minute, and I'm coming right back in 1 minute. Oopsie. All right, just give me 1 minute. I'm coming right back in 1 minute. Thanks for your patience. As far as I'm aware, still no official statement from Iran about this alleged missile attack. So here's another claim from Iranian state media that Saudi Arabia has attacked a Iran ally in Iraq. There's been a couple of those posts in recent minutes on Iranian media. So I just saw right now, just 5 minutes ago, look what was said by Iran's Fars state media. Look at the bottom two posts. Iraqi sources, Iraq was attacked by Saudi Arabia. Iraqi sources, a Saudi attack on a Popular Mobilization Forces dormitory. Popular Mobilization Forces are mostly Shia groups, armed groups backed by Iran in Iraq. And you can see it says, Iraqi sources say a Saudi attack on a Popular Mobilization Forces dormitory in Wasit province in eastern Iraq report. So that's not confirmed, but I'm seeing these reports from Iranian state media claiming Saudi Arabia is striking Iraq after they said they shot down drones fired from Iraq today. Hold on. Breaking news! Another update! Oh my gosh, we have another update for you. Look at this, guys. Breaking news. Announcement from CENTCOM. We were just talking about this. Hold on. U.S. and Saudi forces strike Iran-backed terrorist sites in Iraq. What? Oh my gosh. U.S. and Saudi forces strike Iran-backed terrorist sites in Iraq. That's new news. They just announced this right now. Oh my gosh. U.S. Central Command and the Saudi Arabian Armed Forces announced precision strikes in Iraq today against Iran-aligned terrorists that the Islamic Revolutionary Guard in Iran directed to attack U.S. forces and Saudi energy infrastructure. Oh my gosh. So now I have to replace this. The headline: U.S. and Saudi fighter aircraft struck multiple terrorist logistics and weapon sites across eastern Iraq in a strong response to over 30 IRGC-directed aerial drone attacks of the last 72 hours. The unwarranted attacks against U.S. forces were not successful. From February through April 2026, there were more than 600 attempted attacks on U.S. citizens and facilities by Iran-aligned terrorist groups in Iraq. The IRGC and its terrorist proxies must cease these attacks to avoid further U.S. military response. And again, Saudi forces participated in this. Wow. Breaking news. Breaking news. So this is, again, Saudi Arabia now is attacking Iran-backed forces in Iraq. Now, I need a second here. Okay, hold on a second here. All right, thanks. I just had to update the description for a second. So again, this is new news. We came on the air to cover. I'm going to have to use the ticker. We came on the air to cover the U.S. saying that Iran had launched an attempted surprise attack on U.S. forces, launching missiles at U.S. forces, which were all intercepted. Reportedly, that was in Jordan. Well, we just heard right now that the U.S. and Saudi Arabian warplanes conducted precision strikes against Iran-aligned terrorists that Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps in Iran, had been directing to attack U.S. forces and Saudi energy infrastructure. U.S. and Saudi fighter aircraft struck multiple terrorist logistics and weapons sites across eastern Iraq in a strong response to over 30 IRGC-directed aerial drone attacks in the last 72 hours. The unwarranted attacks against U.S. forces were not successful. Again, they say from February through April 2026, there were more than 800 attempted attacks on U.S. citizens and facilities by Iran-aligned terrorist militias in Iraq. The IRGC and its terrorist proxies must cease these attacks in order to avoid further U.S. military response. So now what's happening? I got to read some comments from you guys. Oops, hang on a second. Hold on. Let's see here. Where is that post? There we go. Space Fraggle says the fires of war are spreading. Tim Apple says, what will oil do? Let me show you what Apple, I don't know if this is going to affect oil. I don't know if that new announcement is going to affect oil or not. So I can tell you that Brent crude is at 84.37, whereas at 5 p.m. it was at 81.97. And WTI crude is, this is from TradingView. WTI crude back around 4:30 p.m. was 79.12 and now it's 81.97. You know, it's interesting. It's like by doing this, this is a way for the U.S. to like attack Iranian-backed forces. But technically speaking, the U.S. didn't attack Iran directly. Same with Saudi Arabia. Chris Canlon says this war is hot. Hand Some Stranger says Saudi grew some blank. SB says, I never saw this happening. I am shocked. Go USA. Adam Erickson says, wow, 5D chess again. All right, so I don't know what to make of all this. And again, now I'm wondering, do you have these Iranian forces, backed forces in Iraq? Do they start, launching retaliation strikes on Saudi Arabia, on U.S. forces? Remember that the Houthis have launched attacks on several ships in recent days, and also missile and drone attacks at Saudi Arabia. They've launched attacks on Saudi Arabian ships, and a few days ago launched an attack on Saudi Arabia with missiles and drones. So that's going on too. Yes, this is, as Elon's Folly says, this is not the Iraqi government. These are Iran-backed Iraqi forces it's not like the Iraqi state, it's not like the Iraqi army, it's these forces in Iraq that are backed by Iran. It's not the Iraqi government. That is, the U.S. is not saying we attack the Iraqi government. All right, now let me do some checking here, but that was new. I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that announcement. So now what? Oh, hold on. I have an update from Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia Ministry of Defense. Okay, this is an update from Saudi Arabia Ministry of Defense 6 minutes ago. 6 minutes ago from the Saudi Arabia Ministry of Defense. The official spokesperson of the Saudi Arabia Ministry of Defense, Major General Turki al-Maliki, stated that in addition to the two statements issued by the Ministry of Defense on Monday and Tuesday, the air defenses intercepted and destroyed several drones that attempted to target petroleum facilities in the eastern province and Riyadh regions. These terrorist attacks were launched from Iraqi territory and carried out by Iran-aligned terrorist militias. This reaffirms the Saudi kingdom's legitimate right to defend itself and its capabilities while reserving the right to respond at an appropriate time and place in line with the Almighty's words. And if anyone transgresses against you, transgress against them in the same way they transgressed against you. Proceeding from the right to self-defense guaranteed by international law under Article 51 of the United Nations Charter, the Saudi Armed Forces, in coordination with the U.S. Central Command today conducted precise and targeted strikes against objectives belonging to those militias located on the territory of the Republic of Iraq and linked to the attacks on petroleum facilities in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia emphasizes it does not seek escalation, but will respond to any aggression it faces. Lieutenant Dabe says Saudi is now deep in it. So we've had reportedly Iranian-backed groups in Iraq in recent days launching drones at Saudi Arabia at oil facilities. We've had the Houthis attacking oil facilities in Saudi Arabia, and the Houthis are Iran-backed too, but they have a long-standing, for years, they were fighting each other. In the Houthis in Yemen were fighting a coalition led by the Saudis for years, and then there was a ceasefire several years ago, but then that recently seems to have come undone to a great deal, and they've been launching attacks on each other. So, but the Houthis are also backed by Iran. So you now have Saudi Arabia under attack in the last week or so by Iran-backed forces in Iraq, also by the Houthis, and you have now Saudi Arabia taking military action. They have launched strikes on the forces in the Iran-backed forces in Iraq. Also, I believe that the Houthis claim that Saudi Arabia hit a Houthi-controlled airport. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. Anyways, so I don't know if we can say this thing is spreading, but yes, Saudi Arabia is certainly more involved than it was before, for weeks and months before. Ian Dixon says it's getting scary. David Joe Clote says the Saudi Air Force is more for show than anything else. Don't expect them to act directly against Iran itself. Remember, Saudi Arabia and Iran are enemies. And you just have Saudi Arabia. You've had, in the last few days, apparently Iran-backed groups in Iraq launching drones at Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia military attacking the Iran-backed forces in Iraq. Wow. Lots going on. Walt Now Pig says, I'm tired of so much winning. All right, let's see what else. By the way, I wonder if we're going to now see more retaliation from the Iranian side. Here's how Fars state media, Iran, described it. Look at the bottom post right there from Fars state media. See the bottom post? Saudi, now when they say invasion, I think this is some weird translation. I think it's supposed to be attack. Saudi Arabia confirms military, I think they mean attack of Iraq, and collusion with America. So they call it collusion with America. That's what Far State Media says. Now, this says, we keep hearing about stuff going on in Iraq tonight. This says missile and artillery attacks targeted Husseini processions and pilgrims. Hold on. Husseini is Shia, I'm seeing here. Remember, Iran is Shia. So Iran is saying that Iraqi media, I don't know if this is true, is claiming that there were missile and artillery attacks targeting Husseini processions and pilgrims. I don't know if this is going to be like an excuse for Iran to launch more strikes. Yeah, this is something that in theory Iran would be unhappy, would be mad about this if Shia pilgrims and processions were targeted in Iraq. Here's an update from Iranian state media. Iranian state media Fars says supplementary Saudi American attacks on Karbala and Nineveh. Iraqi sources say that the bases of popular mobilization forces, which are forces backed by Iran and Iraq, so Iraqi sources say these Iran-backed forces in Iraq in the provinces of Karbala and Nineveh have also been targeted by Saudi American attacks. Also in Karbala, the processions and stations of the Arba'in pilgrims of Hussein, which I'm guessing are Iran supports, were targeted by the criminal Saudi American aggression. So this is Iran saying that Gemini says right now, in late July, millions of pilgrims are actively marching toward Karbala for the Arba'in pilgrimage. And I believe this is a Shia thing. Yes, that's a Shia Muslim religious commemoration. So it sounds like Iran is accusing Saudi Arabia and, Iran is claiming that Saudi Arabia and America, in addition to attacking Iran-backed forces in Iraq, they're also claiming that Saudi Arabia and America attacked Shia Muslim religious pilgrims in Iraq. That's what they're claiming. That's what they say here. I can't say that happened. So I do wonder, though. I mean, it certainly seems possible that Iran and the Iran-backed forces in Iraq are going to respond to this U.S.-Saudi attack on these Iran-backed forces in Iraq that we just heard about from the U.S. and Saudi Arabia. Wow. And then this was just posted. Hold on. Hold on. Again, the Popular Mobilization Force. Just to mention this again. So you'll see right here, Wikipedia says the Popular Mobilization Forces, PMF, is an Iran-backed paramilitary umbrella group that operates within Iraq. These are Iran-backed forces in Iraq, the Popular Mobilization Forces. With that in mind, here's something I just saw from Iran state media, something else from Iran state media. Look at this. It says, no, not there, above there, from Tasneem, Iran state media. Al Jazeera reported, citing an Iraqi security source, that an explosion occurred inside one of the Popular Mobilization Forces headquarters in southern Iraq. That would be Iran-backed fighters in Iraq. So Iran is claiming tonight that, first, they're saying, hey, our forces are getting attacked in Iraq by Saudi Arabia and America, which Saudi Arabia and America already said they were doing like half an hour ago. And they claim that Shia religious pilgrims, who they would be allied with and sympathetic to, are being attacked as well in Iraq. Saudi Arabia is overwhelmingly Sunni. Iraq has large communities of both Shia and Sunni. Iran is a Shia country. So what's going to happen next? Wow. So much going on. So we came on to cover that the U.S. said that Iran attempted a surprise missile attack by firing missiles at U.S. forces. Reportedly, that was in Jordan, and the U.S. shot down all the missiles. And now we have this announcement from Iran and Saudi Arabia saying that Iran and Saudi Arabia forces combined to launch strikes on Iran-backed forces in Iraq who had been launching strikes on Saudi Arabia and the U.S. If that all makes sense. I thought they're not supposed to be fighting, the two sides. Free Speech says it's a full moon, all are crazy. Hey, by the way, Tormented Tantalus just gave 50 more people memberships. 50 more people in the YouTube chat. That's really nice of Tormented Tantalus. Thank you so much. Tormented Tantalus has given 100 memberships on this stream. Wow. Very generous of Tormented. Please thank Tormented if you got a membership from Tormented. Also, Babelicious Nails says, crazy news day. Thanks, Babelicious Nails, for being a member. Thanks, It's More Fun to Compute, for being a member. Thanks, XKR, who says, so what happened first, U.S. and Saudi Arabia attacking the proxies or them attacking the U.S. base? It doesn't say exactly here when the timing was. I mean, this came out after Iran, after the claim that Jordan fired missiles, but this doesn't say it was related to that, though, directly. Anyways, I'm not sure. It doesn't give. It says this happened today, but doesn't give the exact time. Thanks, XKR2. Thanks also to Shaf gave 5 memberships. Thank you, Shaf. Please thank Shaf if you get a membership from Shaf. XKR2. XKR2 says, looks like a limited response to avoid escalation. Well, we'll have to see. I certainly think you might have Iran-backed forces responding to this. I don't know. Thanks, Nuclear Salmon, who says biggest threat to Iran equals unified Middle East. Thank you, Crazy Yoda. Crazy Yoda says, in the last few weeks, the U.S. has brought in a lot more military assets to the Middle East. If they are not there for decorations, we have other interceptor type munitions, even if one type is low. That's from Crazy Yoda. Thank you, Crazy Yoda, for your support. Thank you also, CAC813, for your support. I very much appreciate it. Thanks to Sean Findlay from Canada for your support, who says, we have seen Iran use symbolic attacks to appease its people at the end of a conflict. We saw this a few years ago. That's what Sean Finlay says. Thinks these might be symbolic? Thank you, McLovin Wants Beer. And also Rita R64, who gave 5 people memberships. Thanks so much, Rita, for the memberships. Please, thanks, Rita, if you got a membership from Rita. Also, thank you to Fornax for subscribing on Twitch. Mayor State Media is also claiming that Iran-backed forces have been attacked in Karbala and Nineveh. See that? It says Saudi American attacks on Karbala, Iraq, and Nineveh, Iraq. Iraqi sources say the bases of the Popular Mobilization Forces, which are Iran-backed militias in Iraq, are in the provinces of Karbala and Nineveh, have also been targeted by Saudi American attacks. Now, I don't know the last time, there's been reporting that Saudi Arabia quietly conducted some airstrikes during this war in Iran. I don't know if we've seen anything like this, where they just come out and say it, they let the U.S. say it, and they say it themselves, and they're open about it. They let the U.S. say that Saudi Arabia did it with us. They put their own announcement out, which I just showed you. So they're not hiding anything. So we're seeing a lot more groups involved now. We have, Saudi Arabia is now openly involved. We're talking about where we've been hearing about the Iran-backed forces in Iraq firing drones at countries recently like Jordan and Saudi Arabia. We have the Houthis more involved now than they were during most of the war. Oh, to answer a question, Zachary Cohen of CNN says that the Saudi-U.S. strikes on the pro-Iranian forces in Iraq happened after Iran fired U.S. ballistic missiles at a U.S. airbase in Jordan. But the U.S. official tells Zachary Cohen of CNN these are separate things. Officials say the strikes in Iraq are a sign that attacks against Saudi Arabia by Iran-backed groups will not go unanswered, says Zachary Cohen of CNN. Zachary Cohen says these are the first U.S. joint Saudi strikes during the war with Iran and the first U.S.-involved strikes against Iran-backed groups in Iraq during the conflict. Jonathan After Dark says maybe Trump will make a fake AI video with the song It's the End of the World. That's what Jonathan said. Hey, thanks, Bob Gann, for the memberships. Bob gave 5 people memberships. Please thank Bob if you got a membership from Bob Gann. Thank you. Also, Kirk Whipple gave a membership. Thank you, Kirk. Thanks, Lori Durstein, for your support. Lori Durstein, thank you. And our member, Laura Nolan, for 22 months. Thank you. And Kirk Whipple for another membership. We still are waiting for some sort of official Iranian statement taking responsibility for the attempted surprise missile attack launched at U.S. forces, according to CENTCOM. Here is an update from Iran state media IRNA. This is what IRNA says. They claim there was an attack on several military centers in southern Iraq. These would be Iran-backed forces. An Iraqi security source reported an explosion of unknown origin at a popular mobilization forces, that's Iran-backed forces, headquarters in Basra province, as well as an attack on military centers in the Wasit province in the south of the country. According to IRNA, the Iraqi official, who asked not to be named, told Al Jazeera that an explosion of unknown origin occurred at one of the popular mobilization forces headquarters in Basra province in the south of the country. What is going to happen next? What's going to happen next? The combat drummer says it's about to light off. It's interesting. I said something similar to this. Idris Ali, who's with Reuters, he's a national security correspondent. He just posted the most telling thing might be that the Saudis carried out strikes and actually publicly announced it. I was just saying that. I was saying I didn't think during the war they had done strikes where they announced it like this. And they let the U.S. announce it too. Oh, I think there's a statement from the Saudi Foreign Ministry. Hold on. Excuse me. I can't find that for now. I don't know if hostilities are just going to stop after this. You have, by the way, we still haven't heard anything from President Trump after CENTCOM said that Iran launched an attempted surprise attack on U.S. forces. Nothing from President Trump about it. President Trump is posting things. Look, he just posted 3 minutes ago on his Truth Social. Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu of Israel, along with myself and representatives, had a very good meeting. Obviously, many important subjects were discussed. That was 4 minutes ago. Oh, 25 minutes ago. This is not about the, this is not about the Iranian missile attack. Here's what Trump posted 25 minutes ago. He said, oops, Fauci told everyone he was a great basketball player. So I assumed that he would easily be able to throw a ball to home plate. It turns out he was a phony on that, just like he was on everything else. See below. He was a terrible athlete, and this is by far the worst throw I have ever seen in years of watching first pitches. President Donald J. Trump. That was 25 minutes ago. No, I don't have the rights to the video. Okay, so he posted that. If you go to True Social, you can watch it. Seeing if we have any updates here. Thank you to Fornax for subscribing on Twitch. So, just to remind you what's been going on, a lot has been going on. We first came on to cover this U.S. Central Command at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time today. Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps forces launched multiple ballistic missiles from Iran in an attempted surprise attack on U.S. forces based in the Middle East. All Iranian missiles were successfully intercepted. U.S. forces remain vigilant and at a high state of readiness. And then a short while ago, we then heard U.S. and Saudi forces strike Iran-backed terrorist sites in Iraq. U.S. Central Command and the Saudi-based armed forces conducted precision strikes tonight against Iran-aligned terrorists in the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps directed to attack U.S. forces and Saudi energy infrastructure. U.S. and Saudi aircraft struck multiple terrorist logistics and weapons sites across eastern Iraq in a strong response to over 30 IRGC-directed aerial drone attacks in the last 72 hours. The unwarranted attacks against U.S. forces were not successful. From February to April, more than 600 attempted attacks on U.S. citizens and facilities by Iran-aligned terrorist groups. From February to April, there were more than 600 attempted attacks on U.S. citizens and facilities by Iran-aligned terrorist militias in Iraq. The IRGC and its terrorist proxies must cease these attacks to avoid further U.S. military response. Now, Jessica doesn't think there will be any additional attacks tonight. That I can't say. I just don't know. Could Iran retaliate in the coming hours? I would think so, but I don't know about that either. Thanks, Danny Royal. Danny Royal, thank you. Danny Royal T9171, thank you. Also, thanks to Gaze Kosi. What kind of military capabilities does Saudi Arabia have? I don't know. I mean, they certainly have aircraft. That is not a great area of expertise for me. If you go to Saudi Arabian Armed Forces on Wikipedia, they have land forces, they have air force, they have naval force. They have some different versions of these, it looks like. The Royal Saudi Armed Forces are one of the best funded in the world, having the world's 6th largest defense budget. That's according to Wikipedia. They have 247,000 active personnel, a budget of $80 billion in 2025. Anyways, you can read about what their forces over there on Wikipedia. I can't show the video, but this was posted by Iran State Media Fars. They say, they posted a video, Fars, and they said, the treacherous and brutal aggression of the American-Saudi enemy against the base of the Iran-supported 30th Brigade of the Popular Mobilization Forces in the Nineveh province of Iraq. I should just quickly look at where Nineveh and Basra are. Hold on. Show you that. So we're talking about Iraq. Oops, you don't see it yet. You'll see it. There we go. So Basra is down here, whereas Erbil is up here. Where's the... There you go. Basra down here, Nineveh here, Baghdad, Iraq, Najaf. There's Saudi Arabia, there's Iran. What I need is just 1 minute again. 1 minute, hold on, I'm coming right back. Are we going to see more fighting in the next couple days? What's going to happen? Are things starting to ramp up? Well, the thing is, we've already been seeing fighting the last few days, just not between Iran and the U.S. directly, right? The last few days, we've seen the Houthis attack Saudi Arabia and Iraqi militia groups backed by Iran attack Saudi Arabia. And also, the Houthis say Saudi Arabia attacked it. Also, we've been hearing about, I know we've been hearing about for days, reports of like Iran attacks on Iraqi Kurdistan. So there's fighting going on in the region. It's just been a few days where we haven't seen the U.S. and Iran attack each other directly until today, when Iran reportedly fired missiles at Jordan, at U.S. forces in Jordan. I would love to be able to get you a statement from Iran taking officially saying we launched those missiles at the US forces tonight, but I haven't seen that yet. Oh, I don't know what this means. For whatever this is worth, Iran state media, Fars, says Iraqi sources, Saudi American enemy warplanes are still flying over the cities of Karbala, Babylon, and Najaf in Iraq. I don't know if that's true, but Iraqi sources say, according to Fars state media, Iran state media, that Saudi American warplanes are still flying over the cities of Karbala, Babylon, and Najaf. I'm going to try to go a little longer here. We were up early this morning. I was up early. We did like a long stream on the Lindsey Graham stuff. I did not know we'd be back on the air so fast, but had to come on to cover this news. But I am dragging a bit. I saw an unconfirmed claim that there's new Saudi strikes in Iraq, so I don't know if that's true. Let's keep an eye out for that. Remember, Saudi Arabia is on the border with Iraq. There's Iraq right there. There's Saudi Arabia. Rita thinks it's just going to blow all up. That's what Rita thinks. Brad thinks Iran will surprise attack again tonight. Hang on a moment here. Hawaii Tropic thinks it's real bad. It's going to escalate. I am seeing some unconfirmed reports online from a couple different sources claiming there are new explosions in Iraq, which would presumably be more US and Saudi attacks on Iran supported militias. I don't know if that's true, but I've heard in the last few minutes some unconfirmed reports claiming new explosions in Iraq. Ellie thinks everyone will escalate tonight. Shin just posted 15 minutes ago. Shin claims there was a strike in Kirkuk 15 minutes ago. So are there more strikes going on now in Iraq? That I don't know. Oh, thank you, by the way. Tormented Tantalus, who says, did Iraq consent to the use of its airspace? You're saying the Iraqi government, right? Good question. Thank you, Tormented Tantalus. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Very kind of you. Thanks for all your support. Iran state media is claiming that ambulances are going to the scene of one of the American Saudi strikes in northern Iraq. That could be true. I don't know. And again, I apologize greatly due to our early coverage this morning. We were on all day and got it started early. I did not get much sleep last night, so I'm dragging a bit right now, as I'm sure you can tell. Doing my best, but not easy. Here's a little summary from AP. Well, with things we've been talking about. Look, U.S. thwarts an Iranian missile attack, it says, and launches strikes with Saudi Arabia against militias in Iraq. The U.S. military said today it had knocked down an Iranian missile barrage and worked with Saudi forces to strike sites in Iraq that Iran-backed militias used to launch attacks in recent days, shattering a brief pause in the fighting. The U.S. and Iran had experienced a period of calm, during which neither had announced attacks for days, following weeks of escalation of the strategic Strait of Hormuz. This is young men ride motorcycles along the shore as a tractor pulls equipment from the water and commercial vessels appear anchored. I'm not sure what's going on there. I don't know. Maybe there's some kind of fishing or something. I don't know. This is from Iran state media. They say Iraqi sources say that resistance bases, pro-Iranian bases, I assume, in the city of Amerli in Salhudin province, in the city of Al Dibs in Kirkuk province, were also attacked by Saudi American attacks. All right, here's what I'm going to do. In the interest of trying to stay on for a little while longer, I think I'm just going to, somebody said take like a minute break. I think that's a good idea to maybe get up for a minute and walk around. Try to stay on a bit longer. And I've seen unconfirmed reports claiming some of these pro-Iranian militia members have been killed in Iran in these U.S. Saudi strikes. I can't confirm that, but I'm seeing these claims. Hang on. Hey, thanks, friendly actor Gardner. Thank you, friendly actor Gardner. Give me like a minute again. I need like a minute. I'm trying my best here. Give me a minute just to walk around for a second. Then I'll come back and let you know what I'm seeing. All right, that was probably like 2 minutes. I'm doing my best. Will we get a statement from Iran about the missile attack? Breaking news! We got a statement! We got a statement from the Revolutionary Guard. It's here. We have our statement from the Revolutionary Guard about the missile attack on U.S. bases. Let me get this on the screen for you right now. Hold on. I'm pulling it up on the screen right now for you. I haven't even read it yet myself. Wait for a second. Here it is. Here it is. No, it's more. Right there. Announcement number 52. The U.S. Army's Air Base and Central Command headquarters in Jordan were targeted by ballistic missiles. Iran's Islamic breaking news. Iran takes credit for it. Breaking news. Okay, let's see what they said. Announcement number 52. The U.S. Army's Air Base and Central Command headquarters in Jordan were targeted by ballistic missiles. Iran's Revolutionary Guard Aerospace Force Command. The great and epic people of Islamic Iran, your continued conscious presence on the scene has amazed and admired the world. Hold on. They say has... It got all narrow. Anyways, it says... Your continued and conscious presence on the scene has astonished and impressed the world, and your prayers have guaranteed the successful operation of the Muslim fighters in response to the aggressive actions of the U.S. military. A few hours ago, brave fighters of the IRGC, of the Aerospace Force of the IRGC targeted the U.S. Air Base and Central Command Center in Jordan with several ballistic missiles. As long as the threats against Iran continue, and as long as the illegal and malicious actions of U.S. forces against our interests are ongoing, the resistance will continue. The threats from U.S. officials and their illegal interventions against our interests must be stopped, and there is no victory except from Allah, the Almighty and Wise. So that is a statement. The Revolutionary Guard has taken responsibility for firing missiles at a U.S. air base and... What did they say exactly? U.S. Air Base and Central Command Center in Jordan. They have now taken responsibility. Let me just post this. I need a second. Hold on. I'll put it back on the screen so you can see it too. There it is on the screen. Iran's Revolutionary Guard takes responsibility for firing missiles at U.S. Air Base and Central Command Center in Jordan tonight. This says an hour ago. One of the other ones said several hours ago. I think the statements are a little different from the different. Hang on. Now, the latest version says an hour ago. Okay. Anyways, might be a bad translation. No, latest version is an hour ago. Okay, so again, I was saying I was expecting a statement like this where they would take responsibility, and they have taken responsibility. So they're not denying they did it. I don't know why it says an hour ago. It initially said hours ago. I don't know if that's just a bad translation, but according to the US, this was about 4 hours ago. Anyways, there it is again. Here's their statement again. They say that this is in response to the aggressive actions of the child-killing American army. They claim they targeted a air base and central command headquarters in Jordan with ballistic missiles, and they said as long as threats against Iran continue and illegal and vicious actions by American forces against our interests continue, the resistance will continue. The threats by American officials and illegal interventions against our interests must stop. Brad says, are they still begging to make a deal? Hugh J says, everyone needs a hype man like Iranian state media in their life. Now, this, to be clear, this is Iranian state media is publishing this, but this statement came from the Revolutionary Guard, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard. Richard Keyshawn says, time for the Department of War to take over negotiations. Again, President Trump had said that President Trump and the Trump administration said that they had stopped attacks several days ago to give negotiations a chance. Chris Drencrom says more escalation. Lego Common Sense says targeted IRGC didn't hit crap, bah ha ha. So there you go. There you go. We got our statement. Oh, Fars News. New report from Fars State Media Iran. Look at this, guys. Fars State Media Iran says, local sources report hearing an explosion in the south of Baghdad, the capital of Iraq. What's that about? I don't know. Seems like we might have some proxy fighting going on in Iraq. Proxy meaning that countries are fighting each other, but they're doing it in they're launching attacks in another country but really what they're doing is fighting each other. So we have Iran using forces in Iraq to attack Saudi Arabia and the US. We have the US and Saudi Arabia attacking Iranian-backed forces in Iraq, but one might say it's a way of attacking Iran without doing it directly. Melissa Terry says, yup. All right, let's see what else is being reported right now. Iran fires missiles at U.S. forces. And U.S. I can't fit this all. And Saudis can't fit it all in one headline. It is true that Iran, well, revolution, IRGC, I'm going to say IRGC, Revolutionary Guard, said it fired ballistic missiles at U.S. forces in Jordan. And then what I should put up there is in addition to Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard firing ballistic missiles at U.S. forces in Jordan tonight, which the U.S. says were all intercepted. The U.S. and Saudi Arabia tonight launched strikes on Iran-backed forces in Iraq. Wow, it's a whole mouthful. Hang on. Okay, I have an update here from from Iraq, but it sounds like maybe more fighting in Iraq, but might be more strikes in Iraq. Let me just get this up there. So look at this. This is from Fars State Media, Iran. Iraqi sources reported an attack by the American-Saudi enemy on the second headquarters of the Badr organization in Diyala province. So we're hearing unconfirmed reports of more Saudi-American strikes on Iran-backed forces in Iraq going on. I cannot confirm this, but that was just posted by Fars. They said this is in the Diyala province. Hold on. Gemini says the Badr organization is a major Iraqi Shiite political party and paramilitary organization. It is one of the oldest and most influential Iranian-backed political and military forces in Iraq. Yeah, I don't know that Iran, if the U.S. and Saudi Arabia keep attacking Iranian-backed, if the U.S. and Saudi Arabia keep attacking and launching airstrikes on Iran-backed forces in Iraq, I don't know that Iran is just going to sit there and do nothing about it. I wouldn't be surprised if you have more attacks coming out of Iran. This was reportedly, that's in Diyala province. I can't confirm that. Diyala, Iraq is here. Oops, you'll see it in a second. There's Diyala, Iraq, near the Iran border, not far from Baghdad. Marisol Del Valle thinks they're attacking Iraq now. We're hearing some claims online. Update claim from Tasnim. New Iranian claim from Iranian state media. This is what they claim. Notice number 53. 3 violating oil tankers targeted and stopped. I don't know that it says hit. Command of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Navy. To the devout and history-making people of Iran, congratulations to you for giving new meaning to resistance by being present in the field for 150 days and nights, and for demonstrating a new level of awareness and will of a nation. Your brave children in the Navy of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, while continuing to fully manage the Strait of Hormuz, continue to protect the trust of the devout and vigilant people of Iran. A few hours ago, 3 violating oil tankers, which continued to move in an unsafe and illegal route, ignoring our warnings, were targeted and stopped. Now, it doesn't say anything was hit. So I haven't heard of any new strikes on ships. That'd be a big deal. Remember, President Trump did say, this is Iran saying they have fired at ships. President Trump said, what was it, a week ago, that every time from now on that Iran fires on a ship, an Iranian bridge or power plant will be destroyed, I believe he said, if I'm right. And he said, anytime they get fired on. So here you have Iran saying they fired on 3 ships. The Navy of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps once again warns that illegal interventions and orders from the child-killing U.S. military will not go unanswered by vessels in the region. Yes, as Austin Batman says, I have not seen anything from UKMTO. I'm not aware of any new reports of ships hit. Oops, sorry. Now, Fars says we're hit and stopped. I think that's probably a bad translation. I think they meant to say this is a different translation of the same basic message in Fars. See, it says hit and stopped. I think it meant, I think they said targeted. I think that's probably, usually if they say that they destroyed a ship or hit a ship, they're more clear about that. So my guess is that they meant to say targeted. Sometimes with these messages get revised and edited, and I'm going to assume it meant targeted now and not hit. But who knows? There have not been any ships confirmed hit after Trump said, if you shoot at them, we will destroy a bridge and power plant for every time you shoot at a ship. If you are wondering how many ships are going through the Strait of Hormuz lately, well, according to the Joint Maritime Information Center, which I believe the U.S. is a part of, they have a nifty chart here. So, cargo vessels through the Strait of Hormuz, July 27th, yesterday, 2 cargo vessels, no tankers. No tankers. According to, this includes the U.S., the Joint Maritime Information Center. In the Strait of Hormuz, 3 of the last 4 days before today, 0 tankers went through. 0, 2, 0, 0. And then in terms of cargo vessels, 2113. So, I mean, a reason that you don't hear about a lot of ships being targeted might be that not many are going through at this point. I don't know. Austin says a trickle. Larry Fowl says the president says the strait is open. And again, this supposedly the U.S. and Iran we're taking a few days off to negotiate, but now Iran admits they fired ballistic missiles at U.S. forces in Jordan, and the U.S. tonight with Saudi Arabia attacked Iran-backed forces in Iraq. Did Iran ever say they were negotiating? I don't know about that. I think they've talked about talking to Oman. I haven't heard any kind of big pronunciations from Iran about negotiating, but I don't know. I haven't listened to every word they said the last few days. I think that's more something that came directly from the administration. If you're looking at oil, this is Brent crude, which Brent crude is at 85.26. Earlier today at about 5 p.m. it was, well, at roughly at 5 p.m. it was 82.50. 4:30 p.m. it was 81.85. So since 4:30 p.m. in about 5 hours, it's gone up about what? $3.50. Probably, what about 4.5% in 5 hours? Similar to this is WTI crude. When it closed a short while ago for like an hour or two, it was at somewhere around 80.5 or something. But I'll show you here. Sorry, this is WTI crude. If we go back to about 4:30 today, it was at 79.09. Now it's at 82.70. The Kospi. Hey, can I talk about the Kospi for a second? This is not really that relevant, but I do want to mention it. This is the Kospi Korea composite stock price index. Korean stocks have been kind of wild in the last year. So look at this. It's down 4.5% right now. Yesterday it was down over 10%. But look at 1 year. That's the 1 year Kospi chart. So let me point out that back on less than a year ago, it was about 3,100. Then it went up to, I believe, over 9,000. This is 1 year chart. It was over 9,000, and that was in June. And then a month later, it's gone from over 9,000 to 5,750. It's been crazy, the Kospi index. But again, it went up like 200% this year in less than a year. But now it's lost, it's gone from like 9,100 to, it's lost like 40% in a month or something. And yesterday it was down almost 11%, and today it's down almost 5%. Anyways, I just wanted to update you on that. It's not, guys, why are you saying it's over 9,000? Guys, this is the price. Why are you saying it's over 9,000? Or is that like some saying or something? The Millennial 6-7? All right, I don't know. But there is the current price right there. 573269. I guess it's a meme. Some people are saying it's a meme. That I don't know. There's, I guess, a meme. All right. People are saying it's a Dragon Ball. Thank you. Thanks for letting me know. Anyways, but Kospi has been crazy. Wonder if I could show you something about Kospi. It's a bit of a off topic. This was yesterday. Yesterday, AP reported that the South Korea's Kospi index sunk more than 9%, triggering a trading halt on heavy selling of chip-making stocks. That was a story from yesterday. This is another story from yesterday. Asian chip stocks slide as China competition fears rattle AI trade. And this is from yesterday from Reuters. They said Asian semiconductor stocks tumbled on Tuesday. It's now Wednesday there, right? With South Korea leading the regional sell-off as investors questioned lofty valuations amid concern over AI infrastructure financing and intensifying competition from China. Shares in memory chip giant Samsung Electronics yesterday closed 13.4% lower, notching their worst one-day fall in almost 2 decades, while SK Hynix dropped 14.7%, amplifying the Seoul market rout. Together, those two companies account for nearly half of the benchmark Kospi index, which closed down 10.8% yesterday, marking its biggest one-day decline since the early days of the U.S.-Iran conflict. SK Hynix is a key supplier of high bandwidth memory chips to NVIDIA, which has been one of the biggest beneficiaries of the AI spending boom. But again, the Kospi right now, just to mention it again, today is down over 5%. Look at the Kospi, it keeps going down. It's down 5.6%. It was down 10.8% yesterday, and now it's down 5.6% today. Wow. There's a 6-month chart right there. That's 1 month. Anyways, this isn't a show about the Kospi. It's not a broadcast with the Kospi, but I wanted to mention the Kospi. Shin just posted, I can't confirm this, that an airstrike targeted Camp Ashraf in Diyala province, Iraq. Here is an update from Iran state media. Again, the U.S. and Saudi Arabia said they were targeting Iranian-backed militia, Iranian-backed forces in Iraq tonight. Look what this is a report from Iran state media. They say Iraqi sources say this. I don't know if there are really Iraqi sources who say this. Fars Iranian state media says Iraqi sources say the Saudi American enemy targeted the Grand Mosque and the water treatment plant of the Martyr Abu Munthar Al-Hamidway base. Now, Al-Hamidawi base. Now, again, I can't confirm that Saudi Arabia and America targeted a grand mosque and a water treatment plant, but that's what the Iran state media is putting out there. I'm looking this up now and it says, hold on. Oh, Gemini says that this houses units of Iraq's Popular Mobilization Forces, which again are Iran-backed forces, and also the Badr organization. So again, I asked Gemini, and Gemini says that this base, again, is a base for pro-Iranian-backed forces in Iraq. I don't know if there's been additional U.S. and Saudi strikes in Iraq tonight, but there's reports going around the web that there are since they posted about it. McDaddy Alexis thinks Iran is more credible than the U.S. Hey, big thanks to Media Tennis, who said 6'7" a lot. Media Tennis, thank you so much. That's really nice of you. Thanks, J. Joshua. JX Shua. Thank you, JX Shua. That's very kind of you. Thanks, God Frieza, who says IRGC propaganda, but CENTCOM made the claim up. I think you're probably referring to something I said in the past, but I don't know what it was, God Frieza, when you said it. But thanks, God Frieza from New Zealand. Rita R64, thanks for being a member. Friendly Actor Gardner, thank you. And hold on a second here. So also, Iranian media is claiming that Saudi and U.S. forces struck against the city of Amerli. See if I can find out. Is this another city with pro-Iranian forces in it? Let's see. So Gemini claims that the city of Amerli is includes heavily fortified staging areas for Iranian-backed forces. So it's possible there are more strikes going on in Iraq. I'm not sure. Let's see. Here is Amerli, Iraq. I'll show you. Amerli. I don't know how to pronounce that. That is in eastern Iraq, on the on the Iran side. There. It keeps going out of. Oh, there it is. Amerli. By the way, right now it is 5:37 a.m. Iran time. 5:37 a.m. In case you're just joining us, I'm doing my best to stay with it. We were up early today. Did a whole long stream earlier today. Started early. I didn't sleep much. Then this happened. So I wanted to come on and cover it, but I'm doing my best to stay with it. But I'm a bit lower energy than normal right now. Thanks to Stephen Briones. Thank you, Stephen. That's very nice of you. Also, Rich Rod. Thank you, Rich Rod. Kev So Fun says, are we back at day one of strikes? Well, I don't know if the U.S. is going to. We don't know. Look, so far the U.S. has not responded to Iran's launching this, what the U.S. said was an attempted surprise missile attack. Yeah, I might just take a minute and walk around and see what's happening when I get back. Give me a minute to stand up for a second. Let's do that. What I can put on the screen is, do I have it here? U.S. Saudi forces strike. Get the other one up there. Where is that announcement? Where is the announcement from earlier today? There it is. U.S. Saudi forces strike Iran-backed terrorist sites in Iraq. I just need about a minute. Right there. Be back in 1 minute. Give me 1 minute. Hey, thanks, Joe Seals. Joe from Right Side. Joe, that's very nice of you. Very generous, Joe Seals. Thank you, Joe. So kind of you. That's very, very nice of you. Joe. Thanks, Eli and Ben, for watching too. Hey, give me a minute or two. I'm just gonna kind of walk around and get a little movement here, and then I'll come right back. All right. Do we have any updates? Do we have any updates here? I'm seeing some videos that I don't have the rights to, supposedly coming out of Iraq, showing places that Saudi Arabia and the US have attacked overnight in Iraq, places that allegedly belong to Iran backed fighters in Iraq. Steve Patton thinks gas is going up right now. Random Gaming thinks Iran wants this war. Rapkins thinks Iran is afraid to fire on Israel. Hold on a moment here. It is 7:49 a 5:49 a.m. Iran time. 5:49 a.m. Thanks, Don. Thanks for the suggestion, Don. Normally, it's not really, if I've gotten sleep overnight, it's not as much of a problem, but didn't get to sleep much last night, so makes it harder. Thank you, Don. I really appreciate that. Let's see. By the way, our viewer, hold on a second here. Our viewer, Misfits Studio, mentioned this story from earlier today. White phosphorus leaks at U.S. Air Base in South Korea. South Korean authorities ordered brief neighborhood evacuations on Tuesday after a leak of white phosphorus inside the U.S. Osan Air Base south of Seoul. No casualties were reported, and the evacuation notice for residents was lifted after about a half an hour. The base said at 17:08, due to a ground mishap and out of an abundance of caution, Osan Air Base established a 1,000-foot safety cordon to protect base and local populace. Our emergency response professionals are currently managing an isolated situation on the installation. We are handling this matter with the utmost care and expediency. A spokesman for the air base said there was a munitions-related accident and it was assessing the situation. White phosphorus is a highly toxic substance that can ignite on contact with air and is used in battlefield smoke screens and incendiary weapons. Anyways, that was from earlier today. That's from Reuters. Thanks to Misfit Studio for mentioning it. Look at this. This is from Iran State Media. Oh no, Iran State TV reports. I'm reading this right now. Iran State TV says Iraqi sources report airstrikes by the Saudi American enemy on the Al Madain area in Baghdad, the capital of Iraq. Initial reports indicate a number of people were injured. So after the U.S. and Saudi Arabia announced they had carried out strikes in Iraq on Iran-supported groups, Iran-supported forces, there were a number of claims in Iranian media of more strikes in Iraq by the U.S. and Saudi Arabia. I cannot confirm those. Oh, and also, so I just told you that Iran state media is reporting that, claiming that the U.S. and Saudi Arabia attacked the Al Madain area in Baghdad. Gemini says Al Madain is a major operational sector for pro-Iranian paramilitary groups. And Al-Madain is here. There's actually a bug flying in here somewhere. I'm sorry if you see a bug. There's nothing I can do about it right now. It's a big bug. It usually doesn't happen like this. Once in a while it can happen. Let me show you here. Al-Madain. That is there. That's in Iraq. There's a rock right there. It's kind of hard to see. There's a rock. And Al-Madain is here, outside of Baghdad. There's a bug. It's going crazy. I'm sorry. It won't leave. Oh, I can see it in front of me. Kind of would like to put it in the next room. Maybe I can put it in the next room. If you give me a second. Maybe you can give me 2 seconds. Oh, no, I think it flew away. It's crazy. We have a bug situation. No, it's fine. Rose, I know, says this war is definitely expanding. Hang on a moment here. Hey, shout out to our moderators, Roberts May Queen, Haley Girl, Ruth, over there on YouTube. Thank you so much. And Darren Charlo, K. Lowry Body on Facebook. Thanks for moderating over there. Bash Girl, I got that fire, Sarah, and our new moderator, Flux Eternus. Thank you so much to all of you, and Flux Eternus for being a new moderator. Linda Belk, Larry Misha on X. All right, it is almost 6 a.m. local. I think it's about almost 6 a.m. local time. Joe Trusman, who I follow, he says, I am observing Iraqi social media accounts publishing unconfirmed reports claiming an Iranian Quds Force commander was killed in Kirkuk, Iraq at the Amerli camp. Did the U.S. and Saudi Arabia kill a Quds Force, Iranian Quds Force commander in Iraq tonight? That I don't know. We're having major bug issues right now. I think we have to do something about the bug. If I can throw it outside, I will. It's crazy. Very rare. Hold on a second. What I'll do is do this. Image. Okay, where is it? Where are you, bug? It's gotten to that point. Anyways, I don't even know how long we'll stay on just because it's getting to be daylight there and I'm pretty tired. I haven't heard many updates lately. I think we might be close to wrapping it up anyway. I mean, I can always come back on again if there's huge updates. But we covered the U.S. saying that Iran attempted a surprise missile attack on U.S. forces in Jordan. We actually showed you that Iran took credit for it. We've been covering Saudi Arabia and the U.S. attacking pro-Iranian forces in Iraq. So there's a lot going on. How is this all going to develop? I don't know. But I think it might be a good time to do this. Got to get some sleep sometime. I'll do that if there's huge updates again. I can do another stream just like I came on to do this stream. So, will we see more fighting the next couple days directly between Iran and the US, or maybe fighting in places like Iraq, attacks in Saudi Arabia, that kind of thing? What are we going to see? I have no idea. Anyways, I really appreciate you guys joining me for the stream. Oh, hold on. This never happens. There's like a bug that's just kind of, it's like obsessed with the lights. So it's just going around and around in front of me. I can't remember the last time this happened. Oh, I see it there. Can I get a thing? No, I'll have to deal with this when I get off the air. It's not a bee or anything. But yeah, so who knows what's going to happen in the coming days. But it's time. Mercy Ruled says if we don't strike back, we're going to be the laughing stock of the world. But did the U.S. ever really strike back in some big way for when the soldiers were killed? I don't know that happened. I'm not sure, though. I don't remember. President Trump didn't post about it tonight. All right. So anyways, I really appreciate you guys being here for the stream. We have Saudi Arabia getting involved more tonight. We've had the Houthis getting involved in recent days. Stuff happening with Iraq. And so we'll have to keep an eye on what's going on. But anyways, if you want, you can subscribe, follow the channel Agenda Free TV. We cover all kinds of live breaking news without an agenda. And I will post updates on my X account, which is @Lookner. If I see stuff going on when I'm not on the air, I'll post over there @Lookner. You can follow me there. Plus, I would recommend turn on the notifications for the channel. I don't know. I didn't know we were going to do this stream tonight. I don't know when big stuff's going to happen, and I'm going to rush on the air. But if you want to get a notification whenever we go live so you don't miss a live stream, turn on our free Discord notifications. They work awesome. And the mods will post a link in the chat to those notifications. You can find a notifications link, also a free notifications link in the description of this video on YouTube and Facebook. So sign up for the notifications so you get told when we're going, you don't miss a stream, and you get told when we're going on the air. But very much appreciate people watching, and also a lot of people have been sending me updates. We've been reading a bunch of comments. Thanks for letting me read your comments on the air and questions. And I am pretty confident we'll be covering more from the Middle East quite soon. Huge thanks to our moderators. I really appreciate it. We could not have our chats without our moderators. We've had moderators here all day. Ruth, thank you so much, Ruth and Haley Girl and Roberts May Queen. Big thanks to our moderators for moderating over there on YouTube. Thank you. and our Twitch moderators. Bastion Girl, I got that fire. Mark HNC, Matthew Kohai 3, Sarah, and Flux Eternus. Thanks for moderating there. Linda Belk, Larry, Misha on X, and Facebook. Thanks to our Facebook mods too. Paul Anderson modding over there. K. Lowry Body. Darren Charlo. Thanks to all of our Facebook mods too. Appreciate it, mods. And thanks to everybody for supporting the channel tonight. Really kind of you, really generous. I don't think I ever thanked Prep Mom. Thanks, Prep Mom. And also Dawn Y9. I think I thanked Dawn, but thank you, Dawn, again. And Atar Monk over there on Twitch. Thanks so much, Atar Monk. And everybody else, Tormented Tantalus, who gave 100 memberships. Wow. And everyone else who supported tonight. Very kind of you. John Johnson on Twitch. Thanks for watching. But thanks for supporting the channel again. Couldn't, without that is what allows the channel to be on year. So hugely grateful for all of your support. Thank you. And let's see here. A good way to find out when we're live also, if you're on X, at Agenda Free TV. I always post on the air at Agenda Free TV on X before we're going live. You can find out in advance over there. I post updates about the channel there at Agenda Free TV. Someone else I need to thank is Joe Seals. Joe, so generous of you. Wow. Very generous tonight, Joe. Very kind of you, Joe Seals from Right Side. Joe, thank you so much. And thanks Eli and Ben as well. Thank you to Joe. Very kind of Joe. Really appreciate it, Joe. Thank you. Hey, thanks, John Monty. John says, what will the world look like after these wars are ended? John Monty, 1976. Some of our viewers might talk about them not ending. I don't know. Thank you, John. Much appreciated. Hey, we do have a chat where you can chat with other viewers when we're not on the air, the Discord chat. The Discord chat is free, and you can chat with other viewers there, and a bunch of our viewers like doing it. So check out the Discord chat. It's the same link as the free notifications link. And big thanks to our Discord mods who mod the Discord chat. Thank you, Discord mods. Let me do a quick check here, make sure nothing crazy is happening. Not at the moment. Oh, was there a statement from the Popular Mobilization Forces? I'd like to read you that if I can get it. Is there? I think I found the statement from the Popular Mobilization Forces, guys. I think this is it. Popular Mobilization Forces Media Directorate. Okay. I gotta follow this channel. Hold on a second here. Give me a moment. I'm going to read you the statement. Popular Mobilization Forces are they're Iran-backed forces in Iraq. So if I go over here, Here is the statement. I believe this is correct. I believe this is the statement from the popular mobilization forces, which just came out about 14 minutes ago. These are forces that I guess some of the forces that Iran, that U.S. and Saudi Arabia were attacking tonight. Okay, so it says, why is this not working? Oh, I see. See this right here? Okay. It says this morning, a number of official headquarters of the Popular Mobilization Forces in various parts of Iraq were subjected to treacherous terrorist attacks launched by American and Saudi forces, which, according to initial information, resulted in the martyrdom of a number of people and the injury of others, as well as material damage to a number of buildings and properties belonging to the organization. We consider this targeting a very dangerous escalation, a violation of Iraq's sovereignty, and a targeting of its official security institutions. We confirm that the competent authorities are monitoring the situation on the ground. While the process of counting losses and assessing damages is still ongoing, the public will be informed of the latest developments and official details once the situation information is complete, through statements issued by the Popular Mobilization Forces. So that's apparently a statement from them. Hold on. So they say they have a number of killed and injured. Yeah, that seems to be the right logo for them. I think that's a legit statement. So the PMF is a Iran-backed paramilitary umbrella group. Statement. Can I just post this? Statement from the PMF from the Popular Mobilization Forces, an Iran-backed paramilitary group in Iraq, saying a number of their headquarters were attacked tonight by the U.S. and Saudi Arabia, and there are dead and wounded. And they say they consider this a very dangerous escalation. All right, hold on a second here. So we'll have to see how they respond to this, but that is a statement from, again, that paramilitary group backed by Iran in Iraq, saying that the U.S. and Saudi Arabia attacked a number of their headquarters tonight, and there are dead and wounded. Glad I got you a statement from them. Let's see. I want to thank. If you do watch on YouTube, I would suggest turn on the YouTube notifications, because that's another way you can find out when we're live. If you want to turn on the notifications, what you're going to do is subscribe on YouTube and then click the bell and choose all notifications. If you're already subscribed, well, click the bell and choose all notifications. Make sure you do that so you get the notifications. Hey, also, thanks so much to our Facebook subscribers who support the channel over there, like Dolly Clark and Kristen McConnell Gates, Kay Lowry Body, Diane Allworth, thank you. And all of our other subscribers there, our Twitch subscribers, G Slayer, Jack's Animals, Uncle Fester, Amelian, Wall Street Shaggy, Hugh J, Allistic, Midtown Mike, Bayou Boy TV, thank you. Wall Street, I think, did I say Wall Street and Shaggy? Wall Street Shaggy, Susan CHF, Sarah, Jack's Haku, thank you. And Jack's Animals, did I think? And all of our other Twitch subscribers, big thanks. And our YouTube members as well, such as Eric Johnson, Paula Faust, J Bucks, Amy Clark Says, David Joe Clotes, Spirit Chain, Farming Missouri, Roy 1822, Don Video Guy, Sarcasm BTC, Patricia Grace, Farming Missouri, Paula Faust, Confidence in God, Justin King, CAC813, Trent Drums, Betty Westbrook, Tara223. All of our YouTube members, thank you so much. Thank you, Drew C8B, for watching. Thank you to Damien WNZ for watching. Manhattan Sheests, thanks for watching. All right, we're going to wrap this up. If there's big news, I'll come back on the air. Got to take a break. Got to get some rest. T Dizzle says U.S. about to wipe the map. Thanks to Trash Nomancer for watching. Hectate, Fweaky Beats, Sharkingly, Wiki Hans, Dolly Clark, Christina Grady. Christina Grady, thank you for subscribing. Christina Grady, I appreciate it. And also Dolly Clark. Thanks, Judy Fishaw, for watching. Ed Scarborough. Andrea Holder, thanks for modding. Brian Shy, thanks for watching. All right, last check here. Joseph Otten, thanks for watching. We are wrapping this up. I don't have much new for you at the moment, but we'll see what happens. All right. That is it for now. Oh, hold on a second. Is this a new message? Hold on. Oh, no, same thing. All right. That is it for now. You've been watching our live update about the Iran war and the situation in the Middle East. I really appreciate you tuning in, and we'll see you soon. Thanks again to our moderators, and we'll see you soon with more live breaking news coverage right here at Agenda Free TV.